We are continuing our Marvel Marathon Madness with 2021 Venom Let There Be Carnage, the second installment in a series of movies adapting the iconic symbiote character from the Spider-Man comics, starring Tom Hardy as the menacing villain who has taken the role of an anti-hero in these films. Now, the second movie follows Eddie Brock and the alien symbiote Venom as they face off against serial killer Cletus Kasady after he becomes the host of an offshoot symbiote of Venom named Carnage, and he escapes prison after a failed execution. So, let us go ahead and jump straight into the plot. In 1996, a young Cletus Kasady watches helplessly as his lover, Frances Barrison, is taken away from St. Estes Home for Unwanted Children to the Ravencroft Institute. On the way, Frances uses her sonic scream powers to attack young police officer Patrick Mulligan. Mulligan shoots Frances in the eye, who suffers an injury to his ear due to her scream. Unbeknownst to Mulligan, who believes he killed her, Frances is still taken to Ravencroft alive, where her abilities are restricted. We jump to present day, and Mulligan is now a detective, and he asks journalist Eddie Brock to speak to serial killer Cletus Kasady in San Quentin State Prison, as Cletus refuses to talk to anyone other than Eddie. After the visit, Eddie's alien symbiote Venom deduces where Cletus has hidden the bodies of his victims, which gives Eddie a considerable career boost. Eddie is contacted by his ex-fiancée Anne, who tells him that she is now engaged to Dr. Dan Lewis, to Venom's displeasure. Cletus, who has been found guilty of his crimes and sentenced to death by lethal injection, invites Eddie to attend his execution. Eddie speaks with Cletus, who insults Eddie, provoking Venom to attack Cletus. Cletus then bites Eddie's hand and ingests a small part of the symbiote. Back home, Venom has an argument with Eddie about wanting more freedom to eat criminals, and the symbiote decides to leave Eddie's body and go off on its own. As Cletus' execution begins, a red symbiote emerges and blocks the injection. Naming himself Carnage, it goes on a violent rampage through the prison, freeing inmates and killing guards. Carnage agrees to help Cletus break Frances out of Ravencroft in exchange for Cletus' help in eliminating Eddie and Venom. Mulligan visits Eddie at home and warns him about the situation. At Ravencroft, Cletus frees Frances and they travel to the St. Estes Children's Home to burn it down. Mulligan grows suspicious of Eddie and arrests him. Eddie contacts Anne as his lawyer and reveals that Venom has separated from him. As Venom makes his way through San Francisco by hopping from body to body, Anne finds him bonded to Mrs. Chen, the shop owner from the previous film, and convinces him to forgive Eddie. Venom reunites with Eddie after first bonding with Anne to get into the police station, and they escape custody. Cletus takes Mulligan hostage and Frances captures Anne, taking them both to Grace Cathedral, where Cletus and Frances plan to get married. As Eddie and Venom arrive, a fight between them and Carnage ensues, while Frances seemingly kills Mulligan by hanging him with a chain. Venom is overpowered by Carnage, but it manages to provoke Frances into using her powers to separate Carnage from Cletus. Venom then devours Carnage and kills Cletus, while the collapsing cathedral crushes Frances. Mulligan is revealed to be alive and his eyes glow blue, hinting at another symbiote offshoot that bonded with him. Eddie and Venom, now fugitives, decide to take a vacation while they ponder their next steps. And then finally, in a mid-credit scene, as Venom shares with Eddie the fact that the symbiotes have vast knowledge of other universes, a blinding light suddenly transports them from their hotel room to another room where they watch J. Jonah Jameson talking about Spider-Man's revealed identity as Peter Parker on television. Now, compared to the previous film, Let There Be Carnage grossed a substantially lower amount, earning a worldwide total of $506 million. The response to the sequel was just as mixed as 2018 Venom, although many critics and audience members do praise both Tom Hardy's performance and Woody Harrelson's, as well as the chemistry that Hardy brings to the table when it comes to Eddie and Venom. I thought that the movie was okay, sometimes goofy, but otherwise a nice portrayal of the murderous symbiote Carnage, and an overall good sequel that embraces the highlights of the previous film. I will say that showing how Venom has developed a sense of self, wanting to go about his life without Eddie, was actually quite interesting. What it also shows is how their bond, if you can call it that, has grown stronger since they met and how the idea of accepting friendship has evolved between them. Likewise, showing how even a murderous lunatic like Cletus can truly love someone was quite the feat, as his relationship with Frances was essentially what was fueling him. But to me, the highlight of the film is still its CGI, which is just absolutely phenomenal. The VFX team that did this and the previous film deserves some serious praise. All in all, a good movie. Not the best, but still quite a fun ride, so I give it a 6 out of 10. Now, the next movie I will cover will be 2022 Morbius, and following that is 2024 Madame Web. So stay tuned, and please do consider hitting the like button and subscribing. I would truly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for spending your time with me. Until our next adventure, y'all stay classy.